Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, Chef DeFloyd, coming to you guys with another episode of the Two Fingers Podcast. We just finished our show for April, our open mic spoken word poetry night, which, looking at it now, I might have to change the name of that and make it more open mic because I think more artists want to perform. But with that being said, today I have my featured artist with me, TChaosItself.
Yes, sir.
And then to my left, I have 99 Apex, who was one of the spotlight artists who actually performed a couple songs that they had. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm
Feeling
great.
Feeling great. Well, for those of you guys who made it, we thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate all the love and support that we had. Special shout outs to Spencer. That is my videographer, the one who held it down the whole evening. You'll see highlights and other things from this moving forward. Special shout out to Breakers DMV for allowing us to host this event at their venue. Beautiful venue. We'll share more about that moving forward. But right now, I kind of want to get into the show, get into these two artists right here, and we go moving forward. So, I know you're my main event, so I'm going to slide over here.
Oh, do you think?
Right,
Do you think? I'm interested in this conversation.
Right.
This man's music was dope. Like,
I
for real.
appreciate it.
So
For
we're gonna
real,
go
man.
into you, 99 Apex, all right?
Yeah. All right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how did you even get into music, songwriting, engineering, all that productions? Like, what was your story?
Yeah, man. So, 99 Apex, a recording engineer, producer, artist, all of that stuff. Anything that really comes down with music, I'm doing it. In that stage. A little bit about me, like things that I have, like track record wise. I've been working with a lot of people independent, people label wise. Some people from Capitol, some people from Rock Nation.
Rock Nation for real?
Yeah. Some names put down. Work with Eric Bellinger, work with Tommy Prophet, work with Johnny Coco out there in Houston, like some cool guys out there and everything like that. Just working with all those people and everything. But what really kind of got me starting into music altogether was, producing. I first started with production in like 10th grade of high school, you know what I mean? And then I eventually just like bled into rapping and started then turning into an engineer when I interned out in Atlanta for Reach Records. So that was the cool stuff there. And it was just, while I was going through college, that's when I was really getting serious about the career and the different angles that actually come from that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's just a tad bit about me, a little snippet. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. And kind of just elaborate on some of the other things. So I know we have a background, we have a little history. You, my boys, your brother, we like kind of all came through the parts. How did you circulate through the name changes that you've had? You've had you had a couple identity changes, or
a lot.
I don't want to see alter egos, but there's been a couple different modifications going on.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when it comes to name changing for anybody, like brands, artists, or anything like that in general, it's important that when you name change to like hit up every last person that you know and be like, yo, I changed my name. And not only just be a person who's just saying, oh, I just changed my name to this, but like there has to also be a brand matching reason for why you changed that name. So like when I changed my name from JTRK, like Joseph the Rap Kid was what it originally was, I left that and turned into Joseph simply because I was like, I wasn't a kid no more. I was dealing with life in a different way. And I started finding myself, instead of just rapping about just stuff that was fun and whatever, I went through life, you know what I mean? And life brings different types of art. So I knew that the content, the things that I was going to start dropping was not going to be stuff that was just like, oh yeah, he's dropping another, kid's song.
You got substance.
Yeah, it was like there was some substance to it and things that came to it. And then I changed from Joseph to 99 Apex from just my commitment to Christ, my commitment to God, and my commitment and understanding that like I was dedicating myself to be a Christian artist and dedicating myself to saying like, okay, everything that I'm doing is going to be in a cause to worship, to worship God, for real. And when I did that and I made that my intention, I came up with 99 Apex, being 99 reference to the sheep, and Apex meaning that when I'm in the 99 found with God, I'm my highest peak of my life regardless. You know what I mean? And so that's what got me to the name. And yeah, I've been sticking with that since, for real.
Wow. So you kind of like did like a Saul to Paul type of moment.
Yeah,
like legit
it was
like
definitely.
that.
It was a Saul Paul moment.
That's
definitely.
Dope.
Like I was coming from just just rapping about anything really, and to then like truly having to get an individual faith of my own. Because as you know, like I'm a pastor's kid, you know.
Right.
Not everybody knows, but now they do know, you know. I'm a pastor's kid, and the thing that pastor's kids deal with is like they deal with taking the faith that their parents raised them with and eventually having to find out how to make that their own if they choose to, you know what I mean? So that's just something that I had went through, and I had to get to a point where I chose for myself. Like I wanted to stick with God, and that was my choice, you know what I mean?
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, I mean, the name itself is amazing, and kind of shifting gears because, you know, you talk about Preacher's Kid and your pastor and, you know, the whole understanding of faith and taking that on. You had to, it was almost like you had pressure from both sides, right? You got secular pressure from your peers, school, life, and then you got pressures of staying in the straight and narrow, going the right way, staying on the right path from your own parents. So like, really, like when you think about a Preacher's Kid, like you're like, they know the Bible inside out, and this, that, and third. They don't get to do nothing, right? And that's the kind of pressure. That's almost a double-edged sword, man. Like you're like born into.
It is literally
like.
Yeah, like
all eyes are always on you.
Yeah, you're inserted straight into like the war that is being like spoken, you know, in word. But it's like, you know, when you're young, a lot of times us that are younger, we're curious. We have a lot of things that we were thinking about in our life, you know, and want to do things all the time. And when your friends are wanting to do all these kinds of things that you already know you have a limitation to, that's when you have to be like, okay, can I, you know, in this moment when I'm wanting to be with my peers and like grow my time with my peers, I have to at some point forsake that in order to follow my own faith. And that takes maturing in general, just to deal with that, man. You know, like it takes a lot of maturing to deal with that. And, you know, it was tough for sure. There definitely was moments, you know, especially with music. It's easy to get competitive, you know, with people. When I was in high school, other rappers, I was rapping about everything else, you know what I mean? Like, competition was huge, like, and it was all ego, really. Yeah. But you know, you just gotta constantly humble yourself, and that's really what it is. Is God constantly humbling me with moments in my life, you know, humbling me, you know, just me being able to realize, like, yo, all this stuff that I'm doing right now, like, it's not gonna go any higher than what God wants it to go. Like, that's all to it. So, with that, I already knew it was like, you know, I had to grow in humility in that, and that's usually the best way to get through that, for real, truly.
That's word.
Yeah.
That's word. All right, appreciate you. We're going to now flip to this side.
Hey.
Speaking of names, right, and name changes and creativity. Yeah. All right, we're going to slide over to Chaos Unchained, itself.
This man is him. This man is him, yo.
Right?
Hey.
Come on, first of all, for those of you guys who didn't see it, that's your fault. I gave you tickets. I promoted it nonstop. Rain,
y'all
sleet,
missed
hell,
it straight
y'all
up.
Missed it. Like,
you missed a good one.
It's a good one. So
definitely missed a good one.
Slide over to Chaos. Give us a little backstory.
Okay.
Tell us your inspiration. Like, how'd you get into this, and you know, kind of go from there.
Well, I started out rapping, so I love hip hop music and rapping and everything. But like, as I started making songs and everything, I realized that I wanted to say a little bit more. I wanted to talk about a lot of things. And with like rap music, sometimes people don't really want to pay attention. You know what I mean? They want to hear you rap, rhymes, bars, and all that stuff. But like the stuff that I did, it had a message, it had a story, it had a whole like just storyline and everything. So I went to one open mic pretty close to my house. It was Nipsey's. It was probably back in 2016. It was run by this poet, Only Just Me. Shout out to Just Me. He threw an open mic. It was the first night. I was like, let me just try something like that. Because maybe I rap, it's story. Rap is rhythm and poetry, so let me try to do something like that. So I went there for the first time, and I did a song. It was called, it escapes me. But it's about a father getting 2 women pregnant, but then he leaves, and I show what happens to both of those kids.
Wow.
So I wrote it to the song Can't Keep Running Away by the Far Side. That was called Can't Keep Running Away. So I was like, instead of doing the whole song, I did a cappella, and I took the hooks out, and I did it all the way through, and it was a poem. And I got a lot of crowd feedback from that. I was like, yo. So I saw what I got from the crowd, and I saw other poets go up and start speaking truth and like stories and everything. I was like, yo, this is exactly what I want to do. This is how I want people to react to my music. So let me just do it a cappella in front of people, and it just turned into a poetry, and it never stopped from there.
And the crazy part is like a lot of people take, when you do stuff like that, like the hook is usually what get people to come back. So the fact that you remove that out, and people were still like, oh, now they're getting to the meat, right? Like to the meat of the whole piece there. So, you speak on, your inspiration and how you got started, but now, what is it that you want the audience to get? Like, what is it like when you speak your truth, when you up on the stage and the lights are bright and you just looking out and you got all the people looking at you like, who's this Chaos with a T? This guy is corny with this T in front of his name. And then you come and not just speaking, like making his presence known, like demanding stage presence. Like what
authority,
what
and it's nothing nice.
I want people to confront certain feelings and ideas that they're uncomfortable to confront. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do a poem about single parenting and deadbeat fathers like I did tonight. Y'all might have missed it. Yeah, actually, whatever. But I want to do a poem about deadbeat dads to the point that there's fathers out there that want to be there for their children, but their baby mother makes it difficult. And it's not very talked about a lot. So almost every poem I do is a twist on a common type of feeling, type of situation, but I want them to confront it head on. You know what I mean? So I go up there and I make y'all just be uncomfortable in your feelings at that. Because it might be a baby mom out there that's like, yeah, my baby father's not really bad. And I kind of make it difficult. He wants to be there, but, I want people to confront that. So I draw inspiration from, like, everywhere to just bring a new perspective. I like perspectives on things. I talk about things sideways and, like, backwards to make people just face it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's word, man. This man. Yeah, like, I try to tell you which camera. I'm gonna look at this camera now, right here, because I got
hard
other
cam?
angles.
All right.
Get all my angles over there. But no, this man is really speaking truth, man. Like this man is a wordsmith, and I wish those of you guys who didn't get to make it out, I really wish you guys did. Make sure you guys go follow Chaos Itself moving forward.
Yes, sir.
So, both of these guys got a life, and they got to keep pursuing their stuff. But I got a couple more questions for them. So, 99, like, moving forward with your music career, right? I know you're saying you're going back and forth between here and Atlanta, which is crazy. Like, you're just really doing it. But what are you striving to reach, and what is the legacy you hope to leave behind if you ever have to put it down?
Yeah, so, man, that's a really good question for real. I think, currently, like, when I'm looking at it, we're talking about short term and long term really there.
Exactly, yep.
It's like, what's the original plan, and then what's the legacy that's going to come afterwards, the long term. And right now, for me, the plan is just to continue to build a brand that's not necessarily just built on the exaltation of, me being like, yo, I'm this cool artist, a dope artist. But what I want to do is I want to create a community of young men, who are believing in God and ultimately are trying their best in this life. You know what I mean? They're doing their best because, as we know, there's a lot of us that, I was fortunate enough to have a father, but there's a lot of us who don't. And because a lot of us don't, now a lot of us, especially in this phase where, we either went to college or we didn't, and we're at this age, around like 23, 24, 25, there's like so many things that we have to figure out really quickly. But in figuring that out, like both, physically, like things that are happening in the world, but also spiritually and mentally, and the lack of guidance, in that is crazy. You know what I mean? So I want to build a community where men who are just trying their best, who are going through life, that are young and are trying their best to get through life the right way, you know what I mean? Building a community where we all support each other, we relate to each other in that, and we say, you know what, this is us. Like, even though we're going through this and it's hard, we know that it's not by ourselves. We know that we're not having to worry about all this stuff with it feeling like it's just us in this world doing that. It's just me or something like that, you know what I mean? I want it to be like, yo, there's actually other people who see me, who hear me, and who, like, not only respect what I'm going through, but are able to say, look, I'm going through the same thing. And I'm actually as I'm encouraging myself, I'm encouraging you as well. Right. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main goal that I have right now. And really that ties into the legacy, Ultimately, I want to build a legacy of where, men are passionate about saying, you know what, I'm not going to be passive about faith and be like, yeah, I'm kind of, into this. But, like, people who are like, you know what, this life is about truly trying. This life is about intentionality, about pushing the best that you can and not just going with the wind. You know what I mean? And knowing that, like, I want to stir that up in people. Because right now a lot of people just quitting for real.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people just kind of like, man,
Facts.
throwing in the towel, allowing life to go. But the legacy is to build people to say, you know what, nah, I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be that, whether if that's, me hustling as hard as I can or me having to stop, take breaks, and realize something in my own mind or realize something in my mentality, of life in general, you know what I mean? So I think that's just what it is.
This man is a preacher kid for real. This man did I gotta get the handkerchief out, do the little down, whole sermon. He just
got me out here
dropped the whole
preaching.
sermon. All you need is like the little. Y'all ever been to church and the preachers do that little breathing thing in between?
Yeah, I got them.
Organs playing, like that's
it.
all you need. Right
So coming back to Chaos, man.
Yeah.
Same question for you, brother, man. Like, you've already done so much, but like, what is it that you are looking for? Like, if you ever put the pen down, like, what is it that you want to leave behind, people to remember you for?
I want to be known as the most creative and the most entertaining poet that can reach people in a bunch of different ways. Like, of course, I'm on stage and all that stuff, but I'm trying to share my poetry in a bunch of different creative ways, like stuff online with props and everything, or like on other people's albums. You know what I mean? Like, I did poetry for a wonderful, beautiful, talented young lady named Lonnie Boheme. On her first album, I did 3 poems for her. It's an amazing story. Definitely check that out. So I want to explore all that stuff in many different ways, but be most creative, most entertaining, and just that helps and heals you at the same time while you're being creatively entertained. You know what I mean? I want to leave that legacy behind.
And be the most creative, man.
Yeah.
That's a tall order, man.
It is.
I'm not knocking that. Like,
I mean,
please pursue as far as you can. But
it's
my
got to
man
be a
said
challenge.
The most
creative
poet.
Does
So does that include like rappers and lyricists and stuff like that? Like,
all of that.
So you want to be on the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah,
I like that.
it's like creative up there.
That's up there.
Most
so
creative. Yeah,
Lil
Lil Wayne,
Biggie,
Lupe Fiasco,
Lupe,
Tech Nine, like people that you know that you might not know, but when you think about it, they really some creative dudes.
For real.
I'm trying to be up there. Yeah.
And for you, like, what is like? So what? To close this out, like, before we get out of here, like, for your creativity and stuff like that, like, where do you draw it from? Like, where do you just be sitting in your room, or you just be walking around? Like, where does your inspiration just draw from? Where your words, your lyrics come to?
Yeah, man, like, dude, when it comes to lyrics and stuff like that, it's just life in general, just living life, going out there, just going to work, doing things and stuff like that. Like, life will just do that to you, you know what I mean? You'll experience things, you'll experience like situations when you're around people and stuff like that. And like, how I usually write is I write by literally just like word vomiting. And what word vomiting is just like you're just allowing your mind, without thinking about rhymes, without thinking about anything else, just writing down how you're feeling. And when you write down how you feel, eventually, they say after like a first page, by the time you get to the second or third page of writing, you're going to start really getting down to what you were really wanting to say or what's really in your mind. So usually that's whenever I get there, and I've kind of just exercised myself so much to that naturally, where sometimes I'm not even writing. I'm just like, all right, bet. All right, bet. Here's this line. Yeah, and just bam, and it's just going, because it's like, you're just having a conversation, Microphone is like a person, when you first meet the microphone, you're anxious.
That's perspective.
You're kind of nervous.
That's a perspective.
Yeah, like you're kind of like, oh man, like I don't know this person. Yeah, I don't know this person, so I can't like just say whatever. But the more and more time that you spend on a microphone, the more and more that you're gonna be able to be like, all right, this is how I'm feeling today, or this is how this is going, because you trust it, you built that relationship with it to where you trust it, so that's just what happened with me, I just had to take my time and just be on there and keep going and going and going until eventually my sound and the music that I wanted to say, the things that I wanted to say, was coming, and it was coming out exactly how I felt, you know what I mean? And
does that work for you? Like, do you ever get in front of a mic or a crowd? Because like artists, like you're speaking to the crowd. That's that relationship like he was talking about. Are you ever really nervous when you get out there, or are you just more prepared and
I'm nervous every single time I go up there.
every time?
Every single time.
You don't seem to be nervous. You seem
as-
like you're comfortable. Like,
Yeah, he walks up there like he's
But
chilling.
that's the thing. Like when I'm up there, I'm cool. Before, super nervous. After, I'm super nervous. Like I messed
get
up
that
that
part.
one
After,
line and
yeah,
that one word.
that over-
But like nobody really
criticism.
paid attention. Nobody noticed it, but I pick it up. But like I always was told and always feel like the day you stop getting nervous is the day it stops meaning that much to you. Like that's healthy nerves because like you carrying something big, you're trying to deliver it. So like you're gonna feel a certain way about it. So I welcome the nerves. It just drives me crazy because it messes with my anxiety. But like, nah.
so last question for the both of you guys.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about the Mount Rushmore already and all this. And you guys both are rappers in your own right. Who is your? That's too many. Give me your go-to artist of all time.
Oh man,
Like, who's your
dang.
favorite rapper of all time? If you guys, I know that's hard, but if you could name your favorite rappers,
Yeah, that's
like the ones that, whether it's your favorite or ones who influenced you the most.
Yeah, that's hard because with influence, I feel like people that I respect highly, like see as top rappers, and then also people who influence me, like they have their different perspectives. You know, like you'll be talking about like GOAT lyrical rappers, like lyrical rappers that are fire. For me, like I'm not as well versed with a lot of people from like 90s or like beforehand, but a lot of my inspiration when it comes to lyrically, like how deep I'm really trying to go, is like Kendrick, really for real. Like
Yep.
I respect him and his writing. Like it's always immaculate. He's always pushing himself to a whole new sound.
Yep.
But sonically, I think early Drake is stuff that I feel like I'm like, yo, this sonically is like what
You
I
said
like.
Dre, like Dr. Dre,
Huh?
like Dr. Dre.
No, Drake.
Oh, Drake.
Yeah.
I thought you said Drake.
Yeah.
Aubrey. Like, I was Drake.
Yeah,
Early
that's
Drake?
like-
NWA?
Right.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
alright.
I'm like
That's
sonically, I like his sound.
Yeah, no, that joint, like I said, that risk joint, which guys go check it out. It's a music. Risk is like that, but
Thanks,
for
man.
sure,
I appreciate
man.
it, for real.
For sure. What you got, man? Who's your underground kings, man?
It's Lupe Fiasco, hands down.
Lupe?
I respect
Lupe
that.
Fiasco is one of the most
Lupe's from
creative.
Chicago, right?
Yep. City of the West Side, best city in the whole wide world, as he would say.
Oh, okay.
But like for him to do a song about daydreaming and he's in a robot and the robot is made of the building of the projects that he wins a Grammy for. And then like on his early mixtape, he did a song about handcuffs where he's a drug
Yep, I
dealer
remember that
being in a car, driving through the hood and being embarrassed. But the second verse is the cop that put him there, being a more menace to society than who else, like, and it's all centered around handcuffs. Like, that is what influences me. You know what I mean? I write poetry like that, like in different ways, different perspective, and like, Lupe's the man. Even if you listen to like his song Mural, where it's like 7 minutes of straight rapping, it's about everything in the world, and it's so compelling. But Lupe, hands down. Honorable mention Fonte from Lil Brother.
Wow. That's
He's
a
really
name.
dope. You know what I mean?
That's
If
a
you know,
name.
you know.
That's a name.
Which Drake actually mentioned him as one of his favorite, because
Y'all
Fonte
put
was
me
singing
on.
and rapping back then. I can go. It's not a hip hop podcast, but I can give you some knowledge. But
I'm with it.
Lupe and Fonte, that's
crazy.
it.
For me, so I'm biased too. Like, and I was gonna say like one of the funniest things because he was like Drake and we thinking Drake. Like, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He was born in this generation.
Yeah, it's
man.
all right. It's all right.
Hey,
And
man,
I'm acting like I'm 50 years
99,
older.
bro.
I'm not. But for me, it's like, and honestly, Drake did that too. He sampled this group, Dead Prez. I grew up on Dead Prez.
Ooh, okay.
And it was like, just the way they do it, man. It's like one of my favorite songs. Everyone knows it's bigger than hip hop. Like, that's the classic. But like they had like an album. Like there was this one solid album. I think they went on. They were on like the Dave Chappelle. They did a Dave Chappelle concert one day where he had
Okay.
like everybody, like Lauryn Hill.
Oh, the block party.
The block party, yeah.
Yeah.
He had the whole jump, bro, and they were out there, and I was like they. My parents are older, so I grew up an old soul, right? Like my family's playing music from 70s, 60s, so I'm hearing stuff. The new stuff is almost kind of foreign to me now. Like I'm just so Dead Prez, but I'm biased to my district, right? So Wale by default.
Yeah.
I call myself Chef the Flow because I flow over music with poems. And Wale has always had that niche where he is just kind of like either before his songs or after, he's always found a way to insert a poem in there. And that was probably one thing that always stuck to me. Like for you, like the hooks always stick, but like I would skip past the song. I'm trying to get to the end. Like I would listen to a whole song to get to the end of the piece. So Wale, of course, I think J. Cole got the game in the chokehold right now, just because
his feature run was crazy.
Bro, it's crazy, and like he's at the point now where he's even said it, like especially on that 21 record, he's like, it's got to the point that rappers don't even rapping with me. Like I'm batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Like that line right there solidified him to me. Like he was already up there after Forest Hill Drive and Lights Out and all that. But when he said that line right there on 21, I was like, that's it.
Yo, you hear his verse on Griselda's song, yo?
Yes.
That was disgusting.
Yeah.
He's cold, bro.
Random. I heard Benny was in town and he performed it. Then J. Cole just came out for his verse and just left.
That's it.
That's how just cool J. Cole is.
Awesome. All right, so gentlemen, I know you guys got to go, and I know we got to wrap this up shortly because I ain't trying to keep y'all out here. Before we go, please drop your socials where we can find you, all your information, your platforms. You know, we want to follow you, support you.
Yeah.
You know, just get you across the platform.
Yeah, it's 99 Apex. You can find me on all social medias, 99 Apex Music. That's really just across the board. All tags, 99 Apex Music, and you'll be able to find me anywhere.
Chaos, how we going to find you?
You can find me TChaos Itself, Chaos Itself, Instagram, TikTok, Xbox, and PlayStation. And I mean that, though. Like, I'm really on there gaming.
He said he's about that action. Like, if you get 21 piece past the sticks, my guy. Like
for real. I'm a fighter on that, too. Also, follow Command Grab ENT. I do voiceover work on there. They're doing something called Dynamic Manga with Moonlayer Studios. They take the manga, he remixes it, put the pictures, put it in motion, we voice it. Follow that, too.
That's the verse, man. I got to check that out.
Oh, no, it's dope. Not for real. It's dope.
So
it's dope.
Chaos is also going to be in your favorite animes. So
Lord
be prepared
willing.
for that because
Lord
that's where
willing.
that's
Respectfully.
where it looks like he's hyping
Yeah, I
me
mean,
to.
I could do my anime yell and
of
all
course,
that
you guys
stuff.
know me. You guys don't need my gamer tags, all that stuff. Please don't follow me on PlayStation because I don't want to play with you. It is what it is. Gentlemen, I thank you guys for coming out.
Appreciate you, Chef.
It's
Low
no
key,
problem.
I'm
Appreciate
gonna disclose this because it's at the end. Chaos and I actually did an interview, bro. Oh my God, I'm sick. I'm sick. So we did an interview. The joint was probably like the most fire interview ever, bro. Like I can't gave us full behind the scenes exclusivity.
Like exclusive.
I
I dove deep on some poems.
Some deep like.
I don't think I'm gonna get that
we were
again.
In there,
I got some stories.
Surgical, and your boy and I was sick because like when he hung up, the joint said like end, and I was like, oh, I never pressed record, bro. 30 minutes,
bro.
30 serious, truthful minutes. I didn't press record. So, with that being said, you guys don't get that. Like, it is what it is. It was just a moment shared between me and Chaos. It is what it is. Y'all don't get that. That's exclusive only to me.
Hey.
It was my blessing. God placed that upon my soul and mine only. He spoke to me. So, with that being said, again, gentlemen, thank you guys for coming out. I know some of you guys, it was a little whoop-de-whoop coming out from there, but I appreciate it. Guys, the DMV, Virginia is part of the DMV. Please start considering us, please. Like,
It's worth the drive, like for real.
I understand that
The drive
DC
ain't that
and
long either.
Maryland are like the culture
It's not
center,
that
chocolate
bad.
city, but Virginia is really part of the DMV. So just come off 495 a little bit. You know, Dulles Airport is right there. All y'all fly out of here, so just come visit us. All right. And now with that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys out of here. 2 fingers, peace and love. 2 fingers, 2 up, 2 down. 2 fingers, deuces, and we out. Peace.
Yes, sir.